My name is Aubrey Cole, and the moment my sister's message flashed across my screen, the entire floor-to-ceiling windowed boardroom around me disappeared. I was reviewing a national branding rollout with my team, my phone buzzing beside my laptop like it always did. I expected a photo of bridesmaid dresses or maybe a question about flower arrangements. Instead, I saw this. Derek doesn't want you at the wedding. He thinks you'll overshadow us. For a second, I genuinely thought I misread it. I stared at the words blinking, waiting for them to rearrange into something less cruel, less ridiculous. They didn't. It was as if someone had reached inside my chest and squeezed hard. My sister Lena, sweet trusting Lena, had let a man I barely knew decide whether I was worthy enough to attend her wedding. A man who, to my knowledge, had spoken to me exactly twice. A man whose handshake at Christmas felt like he was already mentally dismissing me, and now he'd labeled me a threat to their vibe. Harper. My assistant tapped on the glass door to hand me a revised pitch deck. I nodded, keeping my expression smooth, composed. No one in that room needed to know that underneath the table my jaw was tight enough to crack. I didn't reply to Lena. I didn't ask why. I didn't beg for an invitation to the wedding I had assumed I'd stand beside her in. I simply locked my phone and placed it face down. If Derek believed I would overshadow their perfect little event, then he had no idea who I really was. But he was about to find out. And when he stepped into my world, my company, my stage, he wouldn't just regret uninviting me. He would understand exactly why he was afraid of me in the first place. The rest of the afternoon moved like a film underwater. I led my team through the branding presentation, adjusting layouts, refining language, while something sharp pulsed beneath my ribs. Lena's message replayed in my mind. Not the rejection itself, but how easily she delivered it, like deleting me was an administrative task. When the meeting ended, Harper lingered. "You okay?" she asked softly. "I'm fine," I said, not hurt, insulted. Back in my office overlooking downtown Seattle, the city stretched like a map of every battle I'd fought alone. Years of 14-hour days, clients who doubted me until results shut them up, men who mistook confidence for arrogance until I outperformed them. I didn't need validation from a wedding invitation, but I refused to let anyone, especially Derek Vance, define my worth. Harper knocked again, placing a dossier on my desk. Details for tonight's gala press list seating chart and the profiles for the Vance-Willard merger. I paused when one name appeared, Derek A. Vance, Chief Financial Officer. Everything stilled. "Their CFO will finalize the partnership tonight," Harper continued. "CEO arrives later." I closed the folder slowly. Perfect. How poetic. The man who didn't want me at his wedding was about to attend the most high-profile event of my career. An event powered by the company he didn't know I owned. I leaned back, a quiet smile forming. He hadn't invited me into his world. Tonight, he'd step blindly into mine. By sunset, the hotel ballroom looked like a magazine spread, gold uplighting glass centerpieces, the Cole and Crest logo glowing across the press wall. My world, my company. I arrived early wearing a deep emerald silk jumpsuit, sharp heels, hair swept to one side. Not glamorous, precise. Everything about tonight was intentional. "Press is ready," Harper reported. "Bennett Group execs in 15, and Vance's team, any minute." A controlled anticipation threaded through me. I wasn't the one who should be nervous. Guests arrived in waves. CEOs, founders, officials. Photographers called my name. Flashes lit the carpet. I kept my posture straight, my presence unmistakable. Then the room shifted, conversations dimmed, attention pulled toward the entrance. "He's here," Harper said. Derek stepped onto the carpet like a man who expected to own the room. But when he saw the press wall, my press wall, and then me in front of it, his confidence shattered. He stopped walking. His expression buckled into confusion, then panic. He mouthed no. I offered him a polite business smile, the kind that said, "You should have done your research." A PR manager gestured. Mr. Vance stepped forward for photos. He didn't. He just stared, stunned. The man who uninvited me from a wedding had walked straight into my empire, and he didn't yet know how much he needed me. Derek tried to recover, straightening his jacket. "Aubrey, what are you doing here?" "I'm hosting," I said. His throat bobbed. "Hosting this?" He looked around at the camera's banners. Reporters. This is Cole & Crest's annual industry gala. I finished. My team prepared thoroughly. Didn't your firm brief you? They didn't mention. You didn't ask, I murmured. A photographer called my name and I turned, letting Derek fade like background noise. Executives approached for handshakes, journalists for quotes. I moved through them with practiced ease, and Derek watched every compliment striking him like a blow. Every acknowledgement of my work cracking his assumptions in real time. After the announcements, guests shifted toward the lounge. I sensed Derek tailing me like a misplaced shadow. "Aubrey," he said urgently, "please, can we talk?" "No, it's important. So is tonight." Investors greeted me warmly. "Ms. Cole, your expansion strategy was brilliant." "Thank you," I replied. Behind me, Derek stiffened. That praise wasn't meant for a bridesmaid, a placeholder, or someone ruining a wedding vibe. It was meant for a woman he tried to belittle. I brushed past him without a pause. Let him chase. Tonight I wasn't seeking entry into anyone else's world. Tonight he was scrambling for a place in mine. Inside the VIP negotiation suite, everything gleamed under soft lighting, marble velvet chairs, a glass table lined with embossed folders. I stepped in first, owning the room like someone who built it. Derek hovered at the doorway looking like prey in the wrong habitat. The partner firm's CEO stood. "Ms. Cole, an honor. Your keynote was exceptional, precisely why we're excited to finalize this partnership." Derek flinched with every compliment. "Thank you," I said, sitting. "I'm looking forward to the work ahead." Documents slid across the table. I reviewed them calmly while Derek watched wide-eyed as if witnessing his future tighten around him. When it was his turn to sign, his hand shook. "Aubrey, please," he whispered. "We need to talk. Privately." "No," I didn't look up. "We're working." "This isn't just work," he hissed. "Lena doesn't know you're this." I turned to Paige, not my concern. The CEO glanced between us. "Is everything all right?" "Perfect," I said smoothly. "Mr. Vance just has a lot on his plate." Derek forced a laugh, though sweat glistened at his hairline. He signed. Then the CEO signed. The partnership was sealed under my leadership, my terms. When the executives left, Derek collapsed into a chair. "You can't tell her," he begged. "Lena doesn't know how powerful you are." "Ah, there it was. You're not afraid I'd ruin your wedding," I said calmly. "You're afraid I'd ruin the version of you where you're the impressive one." He didn't deny it. I leaned in. "You should have thought about the consequences before deciding I didn't belong." Tonight wasn't revenge. It was revelation, and he finally saw the real me. The next morning, my phone buzzed before I'd even finished my espresso. A photo notification. Then another. Then headlines. Aubrey Cole stuns at industry gala. Cole & Crest announces record-breaking partnership. The woman redefining brand power. I scrolled once long enough to see myself on stage lit beneath the company logo before sending the photo directly to Lena. 30 seconds later, she texted back. "Wait, this was your event. Derek said he had a boring work dinner. Then why didn't he tell me you owned the company he was meeting with?" Then the typing bubble stayed visible for a full minute before disappearing. Finally, "Can I call you?" I answered on the third ring. "Hey, Lena." Her breath shuddered through the speaker. "Aubrey, why didn't you tell me who you really were?" "You never asked," I said gently. Pause. "He told me you weren't stable, that you job-hopped, that you'd embarrass us at the wedding." I closed my eyes. There it was, the poison finally exposed. "Lena," I said quietly. "Do you really believe that about me?" "No," she whispered. God, no. I don't even know why I listened. He made it sound like you were some chaotic mess." A soft ache curled in my chest. "You've always trusted too easily." "And you've always protected me," she said, voice breaking. Even now. Silence stretched between us, heavy, honest, overdue. She inhaled shakily. Did he know who you were at the gala? Oh, he found out, I said, calm but edged, in front of cameras. Another silence. Then Lena's voice hurt, confused, awakening. He lied to me. He tried to hide your success because it made him insecure. You deserve someone who celebrates you, not someone who dims everyone else. A muffled sob answered me. I need to talk to him. I need answers. You need honesty, I corrected softly. The line trembled with her breathing. Aubrey, can I come over? Of course. And as I waited for her knock, I knew this wasn't just about a wedding anymore. It was about a lifetime of letting the wrong people define our worth. Lena arrived 20 minutes later, makeup smudged, dress wrinkled from bridal fittings she wasn't excited about anymore. She stepped into my apartment like someone stepping out of a dream she no longer trusted. She didn't hug me right away. She didn't collapse into tears. She just stood there and said with a clarity I'd never heard from her before, I'm calling off the wedding. I exhaled slowly. Lena, are you sure? She nodded, jaw trembling but resolved. He didn't want me to have you there because he didn't want anyone to see the difference between us. He didn't want anyone to see that my sister is stronger than him. I placed a hand on her shoulder. You're strong too. You just forgot. Her eyes flooded. I believed him when he said you'd overshadow the wedding. But after seeing who you really are, her voice cracked. I realized he was terrified of you, and he made me terrified too. The admission sliced deep, but it was honest, and honesty heals. She sank onto my couch. I'm not spending my life with a man who's threatened by the people I love. There it was, her first act of real independence. Later that afternoon, I drove her to her apartment to pack what she needed. Derek wasn't home, but the silence inside the place felt heavy with all the lies he'd woven. Lena paused in the doorway, then straightened her spine. I deserve better, she whispered. Yes, I said, you do. By evening, she moved into my guest room. Harper brought dinner. My team sent flowers. Lena cried once quietly, but mostly she sat beside me, shoulders touching, letting herself breathe freely. When the city lights flickered on outside my windows, she finally said it. Thank you for showing me the truth. I squeezed her hand. You found it yourself. I just turned on the light. And as we sat there, two sisters rebuilding something Derek never understood, I realized something too. Revenge is loud. But truth is devastatingly quiet. And sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply becoming the woman they never thought you'd become. In the days that followed, life settled into a strange, gentle quiet. Not the uncomfortable kind that comes after a fight, but the grounded, breathable kind that arrives when truth finally clears a room. Lena stayed with me while she sorted through the wreckage of the wedding she'd spent a year planning, and sometimes I'd catch her staring out the window, processing everything she had ignored for too long. But she wasn't broken, she was waking up. We talked late into the nights about the ways she'd shrunk herself to fit Derek's expectations, about the moments she'd dismissed her instincts, about how easily a person could confuse control for love. For the first time in years, she let herself say what she really felt, not what she thought would keep the peace, and I listened. Not as the sister she had pushed aside, but as the sister she finally saw. The world outside kept spinning emails, meetings, new clients drawn by the gala's success, but something inside me had shifted. I didn't win anything. I didn't destroy anyone. I simply stood firm in who I was, and the truth handled the rest. Derek tried calling twice. Lena blocked him. His downfall didn't need my involvement. It unfolded naturally the way lies always do when exposed to too much light. One night as she curled up on my couch with a mug of tea, Lena whispered, "You didn't have to save me." "But you did." I shook my head. "You saved yourself. I just held the door open." She smiled. Small, tired, but real. And in that moment, I understood something I hadn't realized until now. Revenge isn't always about striking back. Sometimes the most devastating revenge is letting someone witness the life you build once they're no longer holding you down, and letting them realize they can't follow you there